By the middle of World War II, conventional weapons were no longer delivering decisive results. Industrial powers turned to experimental systems designed to bypass stalemates through technology. These projects prioritized speed, range, or novelty over reliability. Most were rushed from drawing boards to test fields under combat pressure. Their purpose was not refinement, but potential shock. The battlefield became a laboratory, where success or failure was measured in months, not decades. V-1 Flying Bomb. The V-1 was a pulse-jet-powered cruise missile introduced in 1944. Launched from ramps in occupied Europe, it targeted cities in southern England, particularly London. Its function was area bombardment rather than precision attack. The weapon was cheap and easy to produce, but highly inaccurate. Allied fighters and anti-aircraft defenses adapted quickly. Militarily limited, the V-1's main impact was psychological and logistical strain. V-2 Rocket. The V-2 was the world's first ballistic missile, entering combat use in late 1944. It traveled beyond the atmosphere before descending at supersonic speed. Deployed against London and Antwerp, it could not be intercepted. The rocket carried a heavy warhead but required enormous resources. Its battlefield impact was small compared to cost. Its true significance lay in advancing missile and spaceflight technology. V-3 Supergun. The V-3 was a long-range artillery system using multiple ignition chambers along its barrel. It was intended to bombard London from mainland Europe. Test installations were built in northern France. Allied air raids destroyed the main sites before full deployment. Smaller versions were later used in limited roles. The concept proved impractical. Engineering complexity and vulnerability outweighed its potential firepower. Horten Ho 229. The Horten Ho 229 was a jet-powered flying wing aircraft, developed in 1944. Its design reduced drag and radar visibility compared to conventional fighters. Intended as a high-speed interceptor and light bomber, it reached prototype flight testing. Only a few airframes were completed. The aircraft never saw combat. Its design principles influenced post-war stealth and flying wing research. Messerschmitt Me 262. The Me 262 was the first operational jet fighter in history. Entering service in 1944, it was used mainly as an interceptor against Allied bombers. Its speed far exceeded piston engine fighters. The aircraft suffered from unreliable engines and fuel shortages. Late deployment limited its strategic impact. Despite this, it marked the beginning of jet-powered air combat. Sturmgewehr 44. The Sturmgewehr 44 was the first true assault rifle to see combat. Introduced in 1944, it fired an intermediate cartridge suitable for automatic and semi-automatic fire. Used primarily on the Eastern Front, it improved infantry firepower at typical combat ranges. Production numbers were limited. While it did not alter the war's outcome, it redefined post-war infantry weapon design. Panzerfaust. The Panzerfaust was a disposable, single-shot anti-tank weapon issued widely from 1943 onward. It launched a shape-charge warhead capable of penetrating heavy armor. Used extensively in urban and defensive fighting, especially during the Battle of Berlin. Its short range required close engagement. The Panzerfaust significantly increased infantry anti-tank capability despite minimal training requirements. Panzerschreck. The Panzerschreck was a reloadable rocket launcher inspired by the American bazooka. Fielded in 1943, it fired larger rockets with greater penetration. Crews used it against Allied tanks on both eastern and western fronts. The launcher required shields to protect operators from exhaust backblast. It was effective but cumbersome. Its presence strengthened infantry anti-armor defenses late in the war. Goliath tracked mine. The Goliath was a small, remotely controlled tracked demolition vehicle. It carried an explosive charge intended to destroy tanks and fortifications. Control was maintained through a wired connection. Used from 1942 onward, its slow speed made it vulnerable to small arms fire. Battlefield results were limited. The weapon highlighted early experimentation in unmanned ground systems. X-Jurat Navigation System. X-Jurat was a radio beam navigation system used by German bombers during the early war period. It guided aircraft to targets beyond visual range, mainly during night raids over Britain. The system relied on precise timing signals. British electronic countermeasures eventually neutralized it. While initially effective, the technology emphasized the growing importance of electronic warfare in aerial operations. Fritz X guided bomb. The Fritz X was a radio-guided armor-piercing bomb introduced in 1943. Deployed by specialized bomber units, it targeted Allied warships in the Mediterranean. The weapon required visual guidance from the launching aircraft. It successfully sank or damaged several major vessels. Its effectiveness declined as Allied air superiority increased. Fritz X marked a major step toward modern precision-guided munitions. Silbervogel concept bomber. Silbervogel was a proposed suborbital bomber design, never built during the war. It envisioned a rocket-powered aircraft skipping along the upper atmosphere. Intended targets included intercontinental locations. The concept exceeded Germany's industrial and technical capacity. No prototype was completed. Though impractical at the time, the idea contributed to post-war research into high-speed and spaceflight systems.